as I look at everything you've done and the things that you were involved in leading up to The Apprentice, my judgment is that you don't strike me, and a West Point grad doesn't strike me as the reality TV kind of, personality, if you will. And I mean to sound like an asshole, but like, I'm super curious, like what drove you, someone that I presume, perhaps incorrectly, like, yeah, I want to see if I can try my hand at reality network television and go for The Apprentice. Like, tell me how that came to be.
Well, it's an interesting story. I had graduated from the JD MBA program at UCLA and was living in Southern California at the time. Season 1 of The Apprentice came out, and it was pretty highbrow, right? I mean, it was a massive audience, kids watching it with parents. Everybody could kind of watch it. It had, a little bit of a, psychological drama element to it. Trump obviously can entertain. And Burnett was doing casting for season 2, and they did the, city tours where hundreds and thousands of people would line up down the block to try to come in, kind of old school. I can't remember that game show where people, where people would wait outside and they'd pick people out based on their costumes. But there was a lot of that going on. There were probably hundreds of thousands of people applying online. And Burnett and his casting agency actually reached out to the business schools in the Los Angeles area, UCLA, USC, Loyola, and did closed casting calls. So a couple, 300 people would show up, to the amphitheater, their auditorium, and fill out a form and meet with a casting agent for 20 minutes. I navigated through all of that till the final 50 met at the DoubleTree in Santa Monica, and they had us all completely separated, a bunch of rules around colluding and doing all that kind of stuff. So we were very well watched. And the last night, I got a knock on the hotel room door, from all the different testing they were doing on us to quiz, all sorts of stuff. And I went up to the executive suite there, and Mark Burnett is, sitting in a big kind of almost like Game of Thrones throne, and all the producers are standing around him, and he starts giving me shit. He's like, "You're kind of old, Kelly. You haven't really accomplished much in your life," and with his British accent, right? And I was like, I don't really need this. I don't need to go on the show. This was kind of a
Right.
wild hair for me. Like, throw my hat in the ring, literally. Let's see, see what happens. It seems, everybody around me said, "Hey, Kelly, you got to go try this show." My brother especially was like, "You got to go try this. It was made for you." And I'd seen one episode, with season 1. I was like, all right. And I was like, "Hey, I don't need to be on the show. Have a good one. Thanks for all the effort, guys." And walk away. And Mark's like, stop, Kelly, you're on, you're going on the show. And from there, it was, it was a very interesting, I think it was 6 or 7 weeks of filming the 18 episodes. You don't know if you win until he picks live. I knew I'd crushed it, through all the episodes, won every time as the project manager, the project lead, played all of the kind of, psychological chess with the other contestants. And, on live television at the Lincoln Center, with Regis Philbin as the host, the MC of the evening, Trump selected me to be his apprentice number 2.